Join us as we discuss pertinent issues that relates to you and I with your host Alinko. You're listening to the Progressive Mind Show, your number one community building show in the world. Every Wednesday, 6 to 8 p.m. CST, live on Facebook and YouTube. Join us as we discuss pertinent issues that relates to you and I with your host Alinko.
Very talented young people who have decided to follow.
Then another year it starts again. Well, this is different.
We shall definitely be talking to those wonderful people. Once again, we urge you to share the feed on Facebook.
Hi there, I'm Faida, and today we're going to be talking about the African diaspora in Mexico.
Whether UK likes it or not, I have to leave this country.
I became a member and a chief of the Vice Lord all in one day.
All these guys wins out of the north at Midway Airport.
His father.
Rice and beans. Okay, kids, we have had to come to an end of this beautiful set.
It's not about the
This is the inside account of a week that brought the Rainbow Nation to its knees.
right
Essentially trying to inculcate into this. Welcome, everyone. Today is November 23rd, 2022. It is Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central Time, and we're here to bring you this important conversations in our community. My name is Senna, aka Alinko. The Progressive Mind Show is live. We are located in the beautiful city in Chicago. Currently live on Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube. If you just joining us or have been with us for the past 2 minutes or so, please share the feed so your friends and our friends can be part of the conversation. Today's discussion is based on our beauty, specifically Black women's beauty, natural versus wig. And so we have two beautiful ladies who will be helping with this dialogue. And as you are accustomed, the Progressive Mind Show is about you and I engaging. So feel free to join us, join the conversation, to chime in with your ideas and questions. The phone lines are working now. Our studio line is currently working, and so we would want you to join as we progress and share your opinion. Join the live feed. Now, let's go straight. Captain Mike is not going to be here this evening, but we will go straight to our next co-host, who is in the person of Angie Mims. She's here to help with the conversation. Angie, welcome back to the show. How's your evening going?
Everything's going well. How are you?
Well, I'm good. It's thankfully we had a great weather today.
Yes.
On Thanksgiving Eve, so you know.
Yes.
So it made shopping even better for a lot of our ladies, right?
Yes.
Why not the men?
Angie, the way you are smiling, I'm suspecting you did some shopping today.
Guilty as charged.
Jennifer, did you do some shopping?
No.
No?
I sent my husband and my kids.
Rosalyn, how about you?
I did some last night online.
Okay, beautiful. And I'm sure we're all looking forward to a great family time, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. For those who don't know Rosalyn Bates, just a brief background. Just give me 1 second as we look. Do this. Just bear with me. Okay. So Rosalyn Bates is a licensed clinical professional counselor who works at a behavioral health hospital. She earned a bachelor's degree in education and social policy from Northwestern University. She has a master's degree in clinical psychology from Wheaton College and a master's of divinity from McCormick Theology Seminary. She is ordained. She is an ordained minister who serves as an urban congregation and staff pastor and director of ministries. She is an adjunct professor, professor of pastoral care and counseling. Rosalyn founded Rose Garden Productions LLC. Is an organization whose motto is helping people flourish. Now, that's brief background about Rosalyn. Rosalyn. Thank you so much for joining the show this evening.
Thank you.
You're welcome to us. It's our pleasure. And then a quick background of Jennifer. She is also known as the one and only Queen. She's the founder and minister of CAPM, the Glorious GAPM, the Glorious Heart Foundation. She's a legendary broadcaster. She's a journalist, talk show host, community advocate, and more. She wears a lot of hats. She's also a marriage counselor. She's a motivational speaker. Mrs. Jennifer Nartey, you're welcome to the show again.
Thank you, Lincoln. Good to be here.
Thank you so much. Angie, you have, I know we've talked briefly about this show. My take on it is, I know it's not sensitive, but let me just say this. America is a highly diverse country. Despite this, Black women's hair and indeed the Black person's hair continue to be a subject of not just distrust, but also outright rejection. This is seen in the subtle way with people, which people comment on the Black hair as being something out of the ordinary. In the way of corporate America in corporate America, Black people are required to have their hair straightened, despite the passing of the creating and respectful and open workplace for natural hair, which is the Crown Act by the United States. Much work still needs to be done to make Black women feel comfortable, or Black women's hair acceptable in our today's society, specifically in this country, America. Today, we'll be discussing this issue, and so we encourage that you join us and share your opinion as well. The number is on the screen. Later on, you can feel free to share your opinion. But Angie, your quick take on this hair issue of Black women.
I guess the best way that I can say it is that we've come a long way. The Crown Act that was initiated by Congresswoman Bonnie Coleman, I believe, saw some of the plights that we were going through as a Black people in regards to the texture and the styling and just overall just the difficulties and challenges that we even had outside of the workplace. And so in a condensed version, we're still trying to climb and trying to figure out, who we are as a people. Some of us know who we are, but some of us are still struggling because we are kind of subscribing to the rubric of what beauty is and how we should look and the way that we should carry ourselves. And most of that, unfortunately, comes from Europeans. And so trying to know ourselves and embrace ourselves has certainly been an uphill challenge.
Thank you so much. Your brief take on this subject matter. Let me start with, I'll start from the left and I'll go to my right. Lady Jennifer Nartey. For the purpose of this conversation, I'll just call you Lady Jennifer.
That's fine.
Okay. Your take on natural versus wig in general.
In general, this is an age-old discussion,
that from and our mothers, which is still ongoing. As you rightly said, the Crown Act, if it rightly said, creating a respectful and open world for natural hair. So what I think about that act is actually the creating part and the open, the openness and the respectfulness, that word embodies. So, all depends on your perspective of what the role the hair plays in the embodiment of beauty or describing beauty as its whole. And we have come to learn that it plays a vital role. So if we have to break it down between the natural and the wig, there are so many arguments that can be given as to which one is better and which one is not better. But my take is that at the end of the day, it comes down to the individual, whereby we believe that beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder, including ourselves. So for now, that's where I want to, give my summary on that as we later on break it down. Because beauty, whether wig or natural, we've been through it all. We've been through the wig, we've been through the perm, we've been through so many trying to define beauty. But I've come to the point whereby, grown up to this point, realizing that at the end of the day, beauty, and as a woman of God, I would definitely go back to my roots in the word that says beauty, comes from within, how we adorn beauty. So though we are talking about the physical aspects of beauty, the natural and the wig, the confidence of wearing either or would start definitely from within.
Okay, thank you so much. Rosalyn.
Yes, I think this discussion has a lot of dimension, and that's what I enjoy about it. And I think the passage of that act leaves a lot of room for us as women and ability to express ourselves and to discover who we really are. And I believe also that that comes from within, being created by God. So we have a lot to discover in that.
Thank you for your take on this subject. The subtitle is "The Black Woman's Beauty." Now, and I asked a question on social media: when you look at a black woman the first time, or when you set your eye on the black woman the first time, for what stands out when it comes to her beauty? Is it the hair that is being looked at the first glance? Is that what signifies or epitomizes the glory and beauty of the black woman? Now, Jennifer, you just said that he has to start from the outside, from the inside.
Yes.
But we are human, so we see outside alone.
Naturally. Yes.
So how significant is the hair? First of all, before we go to natural and wig, how significant is the hair on the woman's head to the woman?
Okay, so as my sister Rosalyn said, this is so big. This is huge because I know sisters who are bald and they are beautiful. They have no hair at all, and their confidence, they exude this confidence that in a moment you forget they have no hair. It's not about the hair. So what attracts me to a woman, I will love the hair, whether wig or natural, but her confidence in carrying herself. That's why I said the inner part, because the confidence of, seeing you, I see you, before I break it down to seeing your hair, seeing your calf or your legs or all other aspects of you, I see you first. So seeing you first, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So seeing you first is how you carry yourself, and that will come from the confidence. That's why I came from the within, because I could be bald with no hair at all, but when you see me, I'll exude something that will make you attracted to me.
Okay.
And you could have short hair, and that will also exude something. You can have long hair. So when I see a woman, first of all, I see her.
Okay. Thank you for breaking down the way you did. Now, for a lot of people, We're not looking for the inside, to be honest.
Yes.
Generally, we look at we look at people, even if it's a man, but the center of the conversation is as women. So let's stay in that context, right?
Mhm.
So that's why I asked specifically, how significant is the hair that is on the Black woman's head to the Black woman? How significant is that? If can you respond to that, Jennifer, and then
Yes.
I'll have Rosalyn do so as well.
It plays a role. Our hair is very important to us. It is, right from infancy, right from birth, to how we take good care of it, how your mom is proud of you having a lot of hair. But when you have a baby, the first thing sometimes you look at is where it has hair. I mean, I don't know about other mothers, but at the hospital, we'll be like, oh, is she bald or she has hair? Right. So we know hair plays a role right from the hospital. Okay, because when she has a lot of hair, we are excited, like, okay, there's something I'll get to play with, like, it will mold her beauty. So it is a natural fact that we would love to have you have hair even when you're a baby. So it does play a role. Hair does play a very important role.
Rosalyn, the same question. How significant is that?
I think it's significant because it tells such a story. There's so much behind what goes into our decision making, of how we grew up, what we believe about ourselves. All of that feeds into the hair, how someone expresses herself. Yeah. So I think that it's such a layered expression, and we can't capture all of it, but that's a brief snapshot of who we are.
Angie, you being a woman, you want to add your voice to this. And before, Angie, you respond, the reason why I ask is a lot of men, I'm speaking for a lot of men, when we look at a woman, the hair is not as significant to us, but we also understand, to be honest, there are things that we look at when we look at a woman, things that we some things stand out to us, so the hair is not the first one. It's not on top of the hair. So, but we also know and see how
important.
Yes, we see it, right? And how women want to take care of their hair and all of that. So you wonder, what is the hair to a woman, right? So Angie, you want to give us that perspective? Your take on that.
From a biblical perspective, the hair is the crown. I believe that's one of you all's organization's name, where there's something about crown in there.
Yes.
And there are a few scriptures that come to mind when it comes to our hair. But one of the things that we could get easily offended as perhaps, I won't say just regular old Black people, but everyone does not have naturally long hair. In 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter and the 15th verse, it alludes to saying, but if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is given her for covering. For Black women as a whole, because long hair has been so glorified, it plays a huge part in our self-esteem. A lot of men, it isn't until recently where I've seen men who don't mind short hair, or who may in fact prefer short hair, because this was a thing, if you resembled something of the European nature, anything but Black, and you had long hair, then you were admired, you were even respected, you had preferential treatment. And so hair is a huge thing for most women. Some, they'll just cut it off or whatever and say, think nothing of it. But that's because they know that it'll grow back so quickly. But for women who may experience alopecia, or perhaps genetically long hair does not run in their bloodline, it is hugely impacted when it comes to their self-esteem.
Thank you so much for sharing. Lady Jennifer, when we were young, when we were young, our parents, we went to boarding house. Most kids in Ghana go to the boarding house for high school.
High school.
As compared to here. So there's a tendency for us to grow quicker. We grow faster in these boarding houses because we spent about 5 years there. Actually, in total, we spent about 6 years. Back in the day, we did O level, 5 years, and then 6
7.
7. Okay, 7 years in the boarding house. And then when you go, there are layers. There are seniors, at different levels. And you go and then you stay with all these seniors and all of that. The point I'm trying to make is that at the time, and it's still a tradition now. I think it's a law or tradition or a custom that Ghanaians follow. Young girls don't perm their hair, especially when you're in school.
Yeah, and
you are not allowed to the age till you get to the university when you're about 19 or 20 or 21.
Yes.
For women. So, Jennifer, what was the reason for that?
Okay,
and how did it preserve or help in preserving the culture when it comes to women engaging in, let's say, promiscuous acts or having children out of wedlock or all these sexual engagement? How did it help that society at the time, this act we're talking about?
Okay, so you're right to say that when we were in high school, we were not, in fact, you had short hair, everybody short hair. So then you were not defined by your long hair. And the ideology from all behind was that you were there to study, because taking time for your hair takes a lot of time away from your studies. So the ideology was that your beauty at that time, or your focus at that time, was to build you up, build your inner character. I come back to the inner place, build you up, build your knowledge, build your confidence, without focusing too much on your hair, other things. And hair, having time to do your hair and all that, it means your focus now will be on that's all that there is to you. So they took away that, apart from it being time consuming and distracting, they took it away and said, okay, this is who you are. Build yourself up, find who you are, focus on your strengths, focus on what you have. If someone had long hair and I had short hair, because we are all on the same page, right? It didn't necessarily make her better than I was, even though there was no comparison per se. But if we all had short hair and there's no one going to the salon to do their hair and flow and all that, then we are all building ourselves to find out who we are on an equal scale, let's say, per se. But when you get out of the secondary school, or you get out of high school and you're ready for college, they know that now you have identified who you are. So to make the choice whether to perm or not to perm will depend on the individual. But from that formative years of teenage through high school and all that, they wanted the concentration to be on finding out, the inner strength, other talents, other things that define you more than your hair.
Okay. Thank you so much. Angie, if you have a follow-up question, let me know. But Rosalyn, can you give us a little bit, maybe historical, I'll say, concept or historical perspective when it comes to Black women and the way society treated and looked at them because of their hair in this country?
Yes, quite honestly, the way that women wore their hair, for example, in the 60s, it was very politicized. It became a political statement. And there's a lot of pressure associated with that. Some, they decided to present themselves in a more kind of what was associated as a militant way of interacting with society and saying, this is who I am, whether you like it or not. And so there was a lot attached to that decision. Right now, we don't have to narrow ourselves by defining ourselves with a political decision that is so connected to our hair. It's not exclusively or primarily politicized in this day and age, but in those times, that was how you presented yourself. Your hair was an immediate and very visible symbol of who you are and what you believe. So in that respect, we did not have a whole lot of room to define ourselves, or people took that kind of posture, and there was a lot of expectation attached to that. It had to do with how we were attractive to other people. People would treat us in a certain way based on that decision. So
can you, Angie, can you maybe specify some of the treatments that Black women would receive in this country just because of the style, texture of the hair they have on?
Well, I have a question and then I have a statement. Okay. I'll do this question later. But Lady Jennifer said something that was so beautiful and it resonated with me. During her time, she explained that, most, I'm assuming that that's what you meant, most people had short hair.
Yes.
And so it was more so the attention was probably more emphasized and concentrated on the bond that you all had and making sure that your priorities were in order. Whereas here in America, because slavery played such an intricate part in who we evolved to become, it went from physical torment and slavery to mental incarceration. And so when this divide came and there was no longer physical chains, it was, forgive my candor, but it was the house Negro and the field Negro, the light-skinned Negro who was more accepted, the Creole person, the mixed individual, and then the field Negro who had the shorter hair, or it was said on the thread, even tonight on our comments, happy to be nappy. So these little terms that we use, that we ultimately embrace, still erodes at our self-esteem and who we are as a people. And I really struggle with that, even that term, even though I'm grateful to hear that, we can embrace and love who we are. But that term alone still has somewhat of a condescending, subtle tone to it. And so where do we get these things from? Nap actually is what happens when fabric balls up or whatever. It originally didn't have anything to do with hair, and so we've taken that, particularly in American language, and have allowed that to truly penetrate who we are as a person. And so when she made the statement, we weren't really focused on that. That means your priorities were straight. You were sure of who you were. You had a surrounding that built up your confidence, and you did not have to necessarily deal with the particular challenges that American women and men had to deal with. And that is a prevalent problem in today's society. I hear baby boomers in particular say, child, her hair nappy or whatever. What is that? What do you mean? What is good hair? Good hair is well kept, groomed hair, is it not? Is it hair that you take care of and it looks decent? And so we've really struggled. I get very passionate, forgive me, about this topic. Because, it really does, it stinks, that we can't love each other the way our African brothers and sisters held each other in high esteem because we are so negative towards one another. Having said all of that, my question would be to Lady Jennifer, as well as to Rosalyn, is what was it like from an American standpoint and from an African culture standpoint? What does it feel like to be respected and admired for who you are, hair and all? What does that feel like?
Okay. So I wanted to do a follow-up with what you said about the frustration, the how you were treated as to how we were. So
Black women.
Say that again, please.
You mean Black women? Black
women, yes. So coming back to what I was saying, what I realized that in our culture, when our brother said that the men up till now, some don't care whether you have long hair or short hair. Some actually don't even want you to wear wigs. My husband, he is not a fan of wig. No wigs, natural. So some men don't care, some do. But coming back to our time, your value was not necessarily based on how long your hair was, how smooth it was, how coarse it was, how nappy it was. If I can put the word value, when a man was looking to marry you or a man admired you, it was more than your hair. The value was not placed on how long your hair. It was more, in fact, most African men, what was important, if you could cook, if you were a good homemaker, if you could relate to the in-laws, you were sociable. That was what made you attractive to them. It wasn't about your hair. So it made it, I don't call it easier. I mean, I'm just saying that I didn't see the struggles with whether I had short hair or long hair to define who I was at that time. And if a man loved me, at that time, in fact, we did plaits. We called it plaits. We braids and all the plaits and all that. And I don't know if you remember, I had these styles that were natural and stuff.
It was so beautiful.
So it was admired if you have it. If you didn't have it, it wasn't like, okay, because of that you were not pretty, or you didn't matter. So I think that the cultural differences play a role, because our mothers in those times, I speak for what I know. I didn't ever see or hear them downing on us so much as to whether we had long hair or short hair or how your hair looked. In fact, most people at that time, if you had short hair, it was expected for you to have short hair because you are in school and your focus was not on long hair or curled hair or extensions or all that. It has changed recently. It has dramatically changed. But in our time, you were built up and you were admired for short hair, natural hair, however you had hair or not. Even though if you had more, there was a tendency for people to, in fact, be like, oh, wow, she has a lot of hair. Oh, my God, she has a lot of hair. But it didn't go to the extent of, if you didn't have hair, you were not beautiful. I speak from that experience, that our beauty was not defined. In fact, your mother-in-law will not look at you and say, don't marry her because she doesn't have hair. But will say, don't marry her because she can't cook. So the values of building up a woman was on homemaking, was finding her natural beauty, how she was respected. So her respect did not linking it to your question, her respect of who she was not primarily from her hair. What really mattered to us was how you carried yourself, how you related to people, elders, how you related to extended family, how you humbled yourself, how you approached. So it comes back from what you gave to us from within that made us respect you. Because most of our cultural practice, do I call practice or definitions or upbringing, comes from the Bible, where our beauty, we are told that we are all created in the image of God, beautiful as we are. And so if a girl that doesn't have hair, we're like, oh, she doesn't have hair, but we don't use it to define who she is. If she's smart, she can cook, she can clean, not because she is domestic, but there were other things to her than her hair. So we based on that, they built you up. They built you up from that, on your strengths and not on your weaknesses, on what you lacked. So that you earned your respect. And so it was okay not to have hair at 40 and still have a short hair and still look beautiful, because you were given that assurance that the fact that you don't have hair does not define your beauty.
Thank you so much, Lady Jennifer, for sharing. So the confidence, a lady's confidence here in America and back in Africa were defined in two ways. Can we safely say that, Rosalyn, from what we heard? And if you want to add 2 cents to what she said.
Yes, and to her point, as an African American woman, looking back on my developmental timeline, we didn't have those kinds of equalizers to build our confidence and say, okay, you can focus on another dimension of yourself, because of so often the length of hair indicated that you were more beautiful. And that was difficult to manage for persons who couldn't grow their hair easily. And I recognize that some people associated long hair with privilege, and that was a point. The length of your hair was a point of judgment, and it made the difference in how people treated you.
Yes.
It was also linked to skin tone.
Yes.
As well. So that's another dimension of hair. There's a connection between how people associate hair and skin tone. And that goes back to what Angie was saying about the house Negro and the field Negro. So you have those points of division and distinction that make it more complex for women to navigate in society. It caused a lot of questions about our identity, who we are. It made us ask questions like, who am I? And what do I do with this? How does this cripple me? Or how do I leverage what I have and how people perceive me? So we didn't have those kinds of freedom to focus on other things. It became a preoccupation of sorts for the African American girl.
Can I ask a question, Alinko, please?
Yes.
So I want to understand this, and as you speak, it's there's a lack of, I don't call it a lack of knowledge, but we are both Black sisters, and but hearing this aspect of it, it's beginning to open my mindset and my eyes to that this is real. This is something that the Black woman struggles with, and there are layers of it to why today the Black woman's hair is very important to them. Now, let me ask that: what time did I'll say your ancestors or ancestors lose that sense of value? Do you know how that sense of value of their hair or who they were was lost? That it became more about their hair defining their beauty. Do you know, Rosalyn?
I would say for me, I think I began to start to make my own decisions about my hair in college. That's a time developmentally where many, young adults, it's a point of discovery. It's a phase of discovery. So we can begin to say, okay, well, I can make my own decision about how I wear my hair, how I present myself. Whereas someone who's paying for the hairdos, someone else is paying for the hairdos, they make the decisions, for example. Or the influences that a person has are not as heavy on them. They don't bear as much weight in college because of that developmental phase where you have more freedom, you have more power to choose, your world is larger. So all of that is feeding into what you do with your hair and your money. It's your money as well.
Yes.
You have that power of choice that you may not have had, and you have the room to make decisions in a way that you didn't have before.
Do as mothers, I'm sorry, I'm a journalist, is a habit. So as mothers, do you think we have played a role, and are we still doing that for the generations to come? Are we playing a role, or we've accepted what was passed down to us, that we question, or as you said, if my mother is paying for my hair when I was younger, or I'm 6 or 7 or 8, she decides how your hair is going to be, if it's going to be permed or ironed or stretched out or pulled out. She makes those decisions till you're in college and like, nope, that's not what I want, right? So as mothers, do you think as our own insecurities, we have unconsciously implanted them in our children or passed it on for our girls to question their beauty and their hair?
I would say yes. Was that question for Rosalyn?
Well, both of you, ladies, please. I'm sorry, Alinko. I'm taking your job.
I would say yes, though. Rosalyn, you can, get in on this question, but I'm more so, if it's okay, Senna.
Yes.
I wanted you to backpedal because you asked the question, Rosalyn answered, and I wanted to make sure I understood your question because if I'm not mistaken, and I could be, you asked basically where the breakdown took place.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
When it came to what specifically, Lady Jennifer?
Yes. Yeah, I think the breakdown where at what point in time did the Black woman lose their hairs, their confidence in their beauty when it comes to their hair?
Yes.
My answer to that would be when we had more options. Here in America, there was one agenda primarily during the Civil Rights Movement and before. There was one agenda, equality, to avoid getting lynched and mutilated, to avoid being killed, and raped and molested. So hair wasn't the focal point. Living and surviving was the focal point. But unfortunately, and I do mean unfortunately, and I know that I won't get a lot of amens on this, but unfortunately, the more options and availability that we had, the more our value decreased. The more vain, materialistic and topics became more so prevalent and important. Hence, you saying before, in your culture, there wasn't a focal point. Your education was, family was, knowing how to be a good woman and wife and mother to your children. Whereas today, you have all these things, these mediums, these conduits, these catalysts that very much so influence our decision making, and we totally missed the point. We totally missed the point as to why God created us. We totally missed the point into what our priorities should be when it comes to the household. Because also, and Senator, don't get mad, but also because our esteem is oftentimes based on how we are affirmed and validated by men.
Exactly my point.
So when you have these videos and you have incessant hours of just looking at television and social media, these are the things that the enemy ingrains in our minds that we are trying to emulate. So we, in essence, lose our purpose. We lose why were we created. We lose our impact because we are focusing on our hair and our outer appearance.
Great point. I was going to go to this question, but Rosalyn, if you have a point to make, please go ahead.
Yes, I think Angie is on to something really important about how we have commercialized so many parts of our beauty. And that has been a severe detriment to us and to our self-esteem. And sometimes it's unbeknownst to us. We don't even realize how much the culture has influenced the commercializing of our own beauty. And it's caused us not to focus on the beauty itself. It's about it being marketed and really exploited in many ways. And sometimes I guess we have a hard time in how we participate in that or don't participate in it.
Okay.
So that's a real ongoing tension for us as women and Black women, more specifically. We have to navigate a lot of those complexities in the ways that, our white female counterparts do not.
Okay, great. Oh, unfortunately, we lost her. Hopefully, we can get her back. I was going to ask this question. Can we safely say, in exception of what Lady Jennifer said earlier, which is beauty coming out of your inside, if you put that aside, can we safely say that the essence of a Black woman's beauty is her hair? Would that be a safe statement to make in this country?
leave it up to the woman of the hour. Rosalyn.
Oh, wow. Thanks,
I think Jennifer came on again. So great. Sorry we lost you for a second.
That's okay.
But Rosalyn, if you, whilst you were thinking about answering that question, now that Jennifer is here, let me pose it again. Lady Jennifer, my question is: if we put the inner beauty aside, would you say that? Would you say that it's safe to say, for the Black woman in America, the crowning of her beauty, the essence of her beauty, is the hair? Is it safe to say that, putting inner beauty on the side for a second?
I struggle with putting inner beauty on the. I'll answer you, but I'm struggling with it.
Okay, I know you. Okay, I understand that you struggle because of your beliefs and where you're coming from.
Not even about the beliefs. I mean, aside being a woman of God, that's not why I say that.
But the reason why I want to ask this question is for a lot of people who are watching and will be listening and watching later, right?
Yes.
Knowing that for the most part, when we see when anybody meets a woman, they're not looking at, our first instinct is what is on her inside. And I think it's the same for men too. When we meet people, right? That's not, okay, let me see what's on the inside first. It's attraction, and then we further the conversation, and then now we're trying to figure out
what's on the inside.
There you go. So what's on the inside is very important, and I completely agree with you.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that withstanding, if you know physically,
first impressions.
Yes, exactly. Well, physically, when you meet a Black woman, for the Black woman in the Black woman's hair,
yes,
is her hair the most crowning or essence of her whole beauty in the Black woman's head? We just want to know.
Personally, I don't think so.
Okay.
Personally,
Rosalyn, how about you?
Personally, I don't think so.
I agree. I don't think so.
Okay.
Either.
Okay. So, Angie.
I'm sorry, I put myself on mute. I don't either. That's why I gave the ball to Rosalyn, because I don't want to be the contrary.
Personally, I don't think so.
All right, great. No, thanks for letting us know, because as men, and let me roll this one into this next question. How significant is the man's role in authenticating the beauty of the black woman when it comes to their hair? Let me start with Angie.
It's very essential. I keep going back to.
So do we contribute to how you all feel about your hair and how you make your hair?
Yes. Depending on the woman, if she is easily influenced, I'll put it to you that way. If she is easily influenced and she lacks any type of self-esteem, yes, your opinion does and can negatively or positively impact the way that she sees herself, starting with her hair. Even Joshua West here on the thread says, have we allowed Hollywood to dictate what beauty really is in our homes? And so when you have men who, scroll on social media and watch television and go to these different networking events where, they look and marvel and admire all these other women, and then come home to a woman who's cooking and taking care of your children and keeping your house clean and trying to esteem you, and then you say, she doesn't look like the woman that, you want to trip them down the stairs sometimes. But go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I think you asked for it, Senna. Okay.
Jennifer, you wanted to make a point earlier, and I know I interrupted.
No, that's okay. I love Angie. God bless you, sister. Yeah. So you guys, men, I don't know who gave you the authority or the mandate or to be the connoisseur of our hair. It's good but first of all, it's got to start with us, because if I keep changing to please you, it will come a time you tell me to cut my hair, straighten it up, put on a wig, do this, do that. At the end of the day, I'll go bald. I won't even know what day it is. But If my beauty that attracts you goes beyond my hair, your affirmations of who I am, including my hair, with or without, will help us. But if you make all I am about my hair, that is where the eroding of my confidence, comes in. That's why you play a role. And most times, as Angie is saying, if you keep comparing us to the artificial and the, all that, you are in a way eroding, the beauty that we see of ourselves. And that's where you come in. And you earlier on, beginning of the show, like, oh, sometimes men look at you and it's not about your hair. But you've all made it unconsciously about the hair. Without speaking it out loud, you see a long woman, oh, look at her hair. Oh, I like the way she's done her hair. And I have short hair, or maybe I've made it nappy or natural, have it in 3 braid. The moment you made that comment, you're telling me that what I have is not good enough for you. I mean, sometimes women, we could do better with a very natural hair. It doesn't mean because your man likes it natural, you don't have to keep it, beautiful and kept and all that. It doesn't mean being in the kitchen, you can still not look sexy. I mean, we can still do that with a short hair. But as words do matter, Senna, words do matter. And it's those very words that have brought us all these generations, all these years, making us feel like without our hair, we are nothing. Without long hair, we are not beautiful. It's those words that have passed down. And social media, the entertainment industry right now is making it look like if I don't have that, I'm not beautiful. Unconsciously. And it's coming to our homes. It's coming to what our sons will look for in a woman. He will go look at the woman's hair and how long it is, or how, artificial it is, or how, before he looks at the true inner being. Okay. And I'm sorry that's why I keep coming to, because till we are able to begin to have that topic of speaking to the inner self of the woman, of the Black woman, the inner who I see you, sister, I see you with or without your hair. If you begin to give us those affirmations like, okay, honey, I see you. I see that you have natural hair. Maybe, it doesn't go long. I love it this way. Oh, if you sometimes change it this way, I love it too. But if you make me feel like what I have, that God gave me naturally, is not good enough, then you begin to take away the very essence of who I am. And that is where my beauty is connected to my hair.
Okay.
And that's personally, I think that building your beauty from within first, especially with our girls or with our boys, if we build it from infancy, let's have that topic or that conversation from that point. And when we do that, it will come to a time, no matter how society perceives it, our little girls and our young boys will begin to understand that we are more than just our hair.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much. You're watching the Progressive Mind show. Today's topic is natural versus wig, the Black woman's beauty. This conversation is very, very important. These are things we think about and talk about in our various homes. So today we decided to bring it to the limelight, to digress and to discuss it. So please feel free to be part of the conversation. The phone line to call in and share your opinion is 815-277-5047. This time around, the phone line is working. I promise, it's really working. Okay. All the issues we had in the past, I was just build issues. Okay, they were not technical issues, build issues. We sorted it out. So you can ring in 815-277-5047. It's 2 minutes to 7 p.m. Central Time. If you're watching us on Facebook, please help share it as well as on YouTube and Twitter. Tell a friend to be part of the community building agenda. This evening, we are joined by 2 beautiful women, Lady Jennifer and Rosalyn Bates. My co-host also is here, Angie Mims, and we will be delving into the conversation back again. Remember that we are 501c platform. Your tax deductions, your donations are tax deductible. Please support us. We need it to be able to keep our lights on. Even the platform that we're using, the virtual platform, and very tiny operational bills that we need to take care of, but very, very important, because if you don't take care of them, you will not be able to, you can't be operational. You can't be operational. So we need the community's help. Somebody sent in a donation today, and it made my day. Okay, I'm very, very happy. So we want to see a lot of the donations coming in. It will go a long way. A few some shout outs to folks who have been on the feed since we started. We have Karen Peterson, and I'll be reading the comments in a little bit. So Karen Peterson, I'll be reading your comments. Rebecca Mother is also here with us. Royal Black Jesus, Joshua West, and of course Nisi Michelle is also here watching live. Bella Kayute is also watching us. Thank you all for joining. I will be reading the comments in a little bit, but please remember to share the feed. If you're not sharing, you are not helping build our communities through these conversations. Very, very important. Some of the points that Jennifer our guests have made so far are crucial information, very, very important information that we need to know. But if we're not circulating it among ourselves, then we're not helping build those who may need to hear these things, because inner beauty is so important. And as a woman and a man, now the conversation is on women, so let's stay with women. But as a woman, whether you're young or old, know that you are beautiful, but your beauty starts from your inside. And so it doesn't matter how your hair look. It's not to say that don't take care of your hair. But it's more about your inner beauty. So thank you all for joining in and for being part of the conversation so far. Before we go to reading the comments, Rosalyn, I wanted to ask you, from a psychological standpoint, you've worked with a lot of people, counseled people. Now, when they come to you, how much is their complaint, their depression, their issues connected to their hair?
That's pretty layered. I would say, actually, it hasn't been so narrowly focused on hair as it is issues of race. Lately, what I've encountered, particularly in young people, is that they have been mistreated based on race. And of course, hair is about that. Sometimes there is mention of hair being part of that conversation or part of that mistreatment because of the way that they look. So the issue of their difference being a point of division or scorn has been primary, but it hasn't been as narrow as, oh, this person is mistreating me because of my hair.
Okay. And how much does a person's confidence, how much of that confidence is impacted when they're struggling with their looks, and based off issues that they're dealing with, because a spouse may have used certain words to them and they're feeling very down, they're feeling very unappreciative, they think they're not beautiful. How much of these things have you experienced, if you have?
Personally, you're asking for
per your line of work, as because I'm sure you've counseled people women who say, he doesn't make me feel beautiful, or he makes me feel this way by using this word. So I'm trying to know how much of these things you may have encountered per your work.
Well, honestly, I think one of the things to note mainly is that women often feel restricted when that's the focal point. And when they are saying, okay, well, this person is saying, well, my hair is not beautiful, I'm not beautiful, that automatically, okay, well, this person, it narrows the conversation. It narrows the dimension of expression. It says that, oh, I can't be completely myself. I have to focus and I have to do the work of convincing this person based on this one dimension. And so that just puts a lot of work and pressure and energy into how we define ourselves. And so that in that respect, it's really hard. It's really difficult. It's challenging. It refocuses us on things that we otherwise wouldn't have to focus on, and it's very conflicting. It's burdensome for us.
Okay.
In that way.
To all the men that are watching the show, we want you to contribute in the way. First of all, let's talk about. So now this is past 4 minutes past 7 p.m. Now we're halfway to the show. So for this second part, we want to look at natural versus wig. Which one should we be encouraging our women to wear? Which one is more healthy? Which one is more economical, based off some of the background we've shared so far, right? So I'll start with you, Lady Jennifer. I mean, before that, Angie, I don't know if you have any comments or questions to ask.
Well, I really appreciated Rosalyn's point of view from the perhaps mental health perspective. And so I'm always grateful to hear, how these different topics can affect, how we think and feel about ourselves. It is very pivotal in the direction that we would like to go. Believe it or not, we don't even really achieve all the goals that we would like to achieve for ourselves, nor will people be able to glean from the talents and skills that we have until we ourselves feel more confident about ourselves. And so it is certainly a mental thing. But one of the last statements that I wanted to make, and I'm really glad for the men who have chimed in, is that, how do I put it? I like Lady Jennifer as well. My mind is turning right along with you, because as a resident reporter for the Chicago Voice newspapers, we have a lot of questions and statements and everything. And so I totally get it, Lady Jennifer. But this question by Pastor Joshua West, he asked a pivotal question: how does it affect you when your employer is stating that your style of hair doesn't fit with the company? I'll give you a short story. When I first started off in journalism and I was exploring and almost totally a rookie and just looking for anybody to help me of influence along the way, a very prominent news anchor who I still admire to this day, but I've always enjoyed wearing braids. As you know, we, especially here in America, we're always on the go. So I don't have time to hurt Rosalyn's hair. It's beautifully twisted. Child, I would just go crazy. I can't do it. I just cannot do it. Okay? But nevertheless, this news anchor that I particularly admire so much, phenomenal man. But he says, as I joined this particular organization, he says, Angie, you'd be widely more accepted if you would stop wearing the braids and straighten your hair. Not only was this a black person, but it was a black man. And at that moment, that's all I could remember for the next couple of months. Did I change it? No. But did it hurt my feelings? Yes. And so we have to learn that even though we may not even be widely respected by our own people, okay, put white folks and other people aside, but we may not even be widely respected by our own people because we don't look a certain way. And so it helps when we have the supportive community to help us in areas that we struggle, but it even makes it more brilliant. My companion himself, he loves me with makeup or without makeup, with my hair done or without my hair being done. It helps. Not that I didn't think highly of myself before, but it makes it feel even more sweeter. Yes. When you are in a community where they love you for who you are, and even respect you when you don't have talents like Miss Rosalyn to twist and braid and all that. It just makes it so much better.
Yes. Yes. Can I add that before you say anything?
Yes, please.
My mind is
running. Okay.
So coming to what my sister Angie said, that the affirmations from the community, from each other, from our sisters, even from sisters, you know what I mean? Because these little remarks and comments and stuff that we make to one another, to our daughters, to our sons, to each other, has built that, this thing whereby we lose ourselves and we lose our definition and who we are by the hair. Because as I was sitting, I was thinking about when God told Samson that his strength was in his hair. And I began to think that, have we replaced the...
Sorry about that glitch. I think hopefully we can get her back. She was making a very great point. I don't know if Rosalyn has anything to say in that regard. If not, my question is, Angie, thank you so much for sharing that. And I think it begs to know more the depth of what Black women had to go through in this country, in the United States, when it came to their hair. So were there certain jobs that you could not dare do? Right. Were there certain jobs or certain institutions that you couldn't go to because of the way your hair looked and this texture? Angie, you already mentioned that. Rosalyn, did you experience anything of the sort? Can you describe some of the scenarios? If you've heard of any scenarios that you can describe for us.
Yes, it's very common because corporate culture tells us that we as Black women don't necessarily fit the image of the company. And that's very layered. It speaks to the different dimensions of our personhood, not just hair, but also skin and those other things, but it's all connected. And I've encountered that before. It was an issue in previous times when we look at our history. Before, it was an issue of, okay, well, you don't have the education or the experience. You're not skilled for this job. But now we have a little more freedom, not a whole lot more. We're still trying to exude an image that really doesn't match who we are. And there's, of course, sexism related to that too. But back to the point, we struggle with having to resist in some way this narrative that says you don't fit or you don't belong. And so some women code switch with their hair. And so they're able to navigate that and say, okay, I'll leverage what I have and make do with what I can, and I'll still get the job. I know I'm qualified. I can work my hair so that I can be accepted. And then when I get the job, I'll wear my hair the way I want to wear my hair.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but does this speak to the reason why maybe corporate America or certain types of jobs in corporate does not have a lot of Black women? Would you say that there's a historical these are some of the reasons why?
I think so. Yes, in some ways, yes. It would depend on the type of company as well. But by and large, we're told that we don't fit or match a corporate image. And this has been the history in this country, right? The trend in this country. Lady Jennifer, I know you're making a very important point, but I'm sure you can remember that point. If you can respond to this one too, growing up in Ghana or as African women, me personally, I did not encounter that. I didn't see women go through that, their hair preventing them from doing certain jobs. But if you can help, break that down, give us a little perspective. Have you witnessed that? Is that something in Africa? I don't think so, but go ahead.
No, not to my knowledge, actually, not to my knowledge. And now I think we're even going back to more natural hair. We're embracing the natural hair. Those times, even what I know is that when you had locks and, natural twisted locks and all those things,
yes,
those times it was, if you were in this, how do I put this? In this form of worship, Remember? Those were the people
those
that had
spiritual
exactly. Spiritual worshippers were the ones with the locks, and if you were a Rastafarian, you know, you had those locks and stuff. But gradually, we are embracing, you know, those locks now. Our children naturally go and twist their hair, and then we are fighting like, why are you looking like that? You look crazy, you know. But we forget that is their natural hair. You know, they naturally, if you don't do anything, it will lock up naturally. You know, it will lock up. And just like I brought you something, it's like that is your strength was in your hair, something till Delilah. So unconsciously, the Delilahs have come for our hair. Where we've lost our strength and our power. Angie, I'm speaking to your language.
Yes.
The Delilahs have come for our hair. We've lost our power. We've lost what it was that we had. Say that again.
Who are the Delilahs?
Oh, I mean, you know them. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. You know what I mean? Because that was our strength. That was our beauty. That was our power. And we lost it. You know, we lost it. And he gradually asked God to regrow this hair, give my strength back. And that is where we have to begin to embrace and growing back that beauty of who we were, naturally given, naturally born with that kind of hair, and say, this is what God gave us. This is who we are, you know, and regain that strength and confidence back. Because till then, the Delilahs are going to take our hair and we'll be struggling to figure out who we are.
Right.
So back to Ghana, we didn't have that issue. And so when we came to America and we see as our Black sisters spend $500, $200, $1,000 on their hair, we sit down like,
we're like, what?
you go to the beauty shops, I'm like, we got no time for that. We don't do that. So it became so new to us. We admire you and like, they spend so much money on their hair because we didn't do that. You know, if I go and you charge me $100, I'm complaining the whole day. Like, why am I spending $100 on my hair? You know, but when I see my Black sisters do that, and I began to wonder, their hair matters to them so much. And that I'm speaking as an African sister from Ghana,
and it's because of their history.
That's when I began to understand their history with their hair is different than our history. The hair and your nails, girls, we admire you for your nails. Your nails and your hair, oh Lord, we like, wow, you know, and because we didn't do that, you know, it's like it wasn't about how long my nails were or how long my hair was. It was what I carried within who I was. So that has kept us going and given us the confidence. And so today, if I, with or without my nails, I am me. With or without wig, the confidence is there.
Right.
So I don't put on the wig to boost my confidence. I can go natural. I think you've seen me, Senna. I can go natural, low. I can do whatever. But the confidence and the foundation has been built within. So with or without wig or any enhancement, I still feel beautiful.
That's powerful.
So the Delilahs are we've lost our strength.
Now let's go to our panel, our viewers, and take some comments, questions. The phone line is to be honest, it's working. I promise. The phone line is working. 815-277-5047. 815-277-5047. If you want to ring in and be part of the conversation, please do so. We start from Geraldine Lee. Yes, this is true. Thank you, Geraldine. This is Karen Latoya Gibson. Yes. I'm sure I should have started from the top, but we'll get to these points that had been made earlier. Our hair grows best in its natural state. That's a sign, Latoya Gibson. Thank you, Latoya, for joining the show this evening. Great points, Lady Jennifer from Joshua West. And this is an earlier point that Latoya made. The standard of beauty is what everyone is after. Before professionalism or whatever, Unfortunately, the standard looks like everything but us. But somehow, when others put on a black woman's suit, they are more accepted, revered. Wow, wow, powerful, powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that. This is I love that you said that, Angie. That's always my argument. I'm sure this was to a point that you made earlier. Wigs and waves are about convenience more often than not. So we haven't even touched on natural hair versus wigs yet, but we'll do our best to just discuss that briefly before the show ends. We are going to take this one from Joshua. How does it affect? I think we already answered this question. That was something that was a question our brother asked a while ago. Royal Black Jesus, good job, Sana Linko and Queen J. I miss you guys. Hey, Black Jesus, I know Ghana is treating you well. So to the guys, what do you prefer to see on the black woman, natural or wig? If you're a guy watching us, please, please, please ring in or put your comments up there. So we can read it. This is Joshua West. 1 Peter 3:3 deals with the true beauty. What do you depend on to make yourself beautiful? Peter's point is not that any of these things are forbidden, but they should not be a woman's adornment, the source of her beauty, the source of her true beauty. Thank you so much. Pastor Joshua West. There's no pastor there. I just put pastor.
He's a pastor.
He's a pastor?
He is.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Pastor Joshua. Karen says Nathan Berry's under. Okay, I think
Karen is tagging the universe. Okay, she's promoting progressive mind.
Awesome. Annette, a true. I'm not able to read this one, but thank you, Karen, for bringing in your comments. So this last one just came in. Maxwell says natural all day. All right, Maxwell. So we have one natural. Great topic, Linda. Hello, Mama Jennifer. So, well, I think so. Okay, we're still taking guys. Preference on natural and beauty. So natural and wig. But let's go to our panel now as we listen to what your takes are on. First of all, do black women need society's approval of their beauty or their looks when it comes to their hair? Do we need that approval to be who we are? Is it important what society thinks of us? Let me start with Angie. Because of time, so we want to run through this real quick, if you don't mind.
Angie, let it roll.
I don't like that question.
I have a question for him.
If you don't like it,
no. But I wanted to say
I was gonna dress it up.
Right, you don't have to.
No.
Okay.
The approval and what is are contrasting. And yet Africans have a beautiful way of being very direct. So it may come across to Black American women that we need the approval. But it is not approval as much as it is acceptance.
Right.
They're synonymous, but they are not the same.
Okay. Yes.
You know, because if in fact a Black woman in America had a family that shaped her moral compass, she would not need the acceptance or approval of the world if it starts at home.
Charity. Yeah.
So when Lady Jennifer says, "Oh, we weren't concentrating on that. We were trying to make sure that our households were well ran." But here in America, because of slavery and the division and divide, I think Lady Rosalyn mentioned it earlier, even light versus dark. Even as we started slowly coming out of physical chains, we were still mentally incarcerated.
Yes.
And so if it starts at home, if your mom, I tell my son, even though he made a hurtful statement years ago, I want my hair to move. I said, you know, what do you mean you want your hair to move? But I tell him regularly, he's 15, you are a king.
Yes.
You don't have to get your approval from the world. I, by the grace of God, am raising a king. Your dark skin, much like what Solomon said in the Bible when the woman born, she went on to tell Solomon, you know, my skin is dark. You know, he still affirms her. Here it is. If we get affirmation from home, we will seek the approval of society because it starts at home.
Yes.
Right? So no, I don't need approval from the
world. Rosalyn, you want to comment on this?
Yes, I totally agree. It's the acceptance. And when we are narrowly defined, whether it's hair or skin or these other things, that means we have to spend more time and energy, these thought process. We have to redirect all of that to achieve in some way this acceptance and to get the narrative to change, to have a sense of belonging and approval. But if we can make our own choices, look within ourselves, then if we can get it at home, that is our foundation. That is our security. That is what grounds us. And we don't have to look elsewhere for that.
Okay. Thank you so much. Lady Jennifer, please.
Okay, so definitely I'm with Angie on that and with Rosalyn on that. So that, if you remember earlier on, I was like, it starts from what we say to one another. It starts from what we say to our children. It starts from home. It starts from the husband affirming the wife. Because if you continue to make your wife feel like she's not beautiful enough, that pain, that hurt will make her try to change her daughter so that she's accepted in the father's eyes and in society. Okay. But if the man is affirming the wife and the wife feels beautiful with natural hair, with whoever she is, her affirmation will carry on to her children as well. So earlier on, you said that, do we need men? Was that the question? You remember your earlier question before?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, why do we need you all? Why do we need you all to feel beautiful in the first place? Your compliments will be an addition to what we already know.
Can you rephrase? Can you come back again? I want to be clear what you mean by why do we need you all? Are you referring to men?
Yes, men.
Okay, so you
had an earlier question. Remember that you said that what was the question? Something about men. Okay, so do we play a role when it comes to your looks? Exactly.
Your hair, like
yes,
our confirming or admiration for your hair, does it play any role in your beauty or the way you
exactly? That was the question.
Okay.
And my thing was, we are more than our hair. Okay. We are more than that.
So when you say you don't need, are you saying you don't need a man to approve of your hair to feel beauty of yourself? To feel that you're beautiful.
Yes, I that's what I'm saying. Okay. That if you say need, like I'm depending on it. That is my source of, confirmation. That is my source that I need you to say this to me in order to believe in myself. That's what I mean by need. Okay. But you affirming it for me is just not reassuring, but confirming it for me or reaffirming it or telling me what I may have been told before you even met me, what I know my mother told me, what my daddy told me, right? What I've grown up knowing. So when I meet you and you say, I love your hair, I like your hair this way, that way, and that way. Even if you trying to make me change and put on a wig here or do other things, it would not erode what I already know about being beautiful, about myself.
Got it.
Exactly. So not that we don't need men. I mean, affirmation, the young ladies need their dads to affirm whatever kind of hair they have right from the home, their natural hair, their locks, their short hair. Men play a vital role because that man in that home, what you say to that young daughter of yours, what you say to your wife, how you make us feel, that's what Angie said. When I go out and my daddy says I'm beautiful, with or without my hair, if I have short hair, however it looks, that confidence you've built in me, Senna, if I meet a man and he's trying to change me, it's going to be hard because I already know who I am. Because my daddy and my mom told me that it is not my hair that defines who I am. My hair is a complementary asset, because we're talking about only hair, but there are some men that only don't focus on hair, other parts of our body. And sometimes the women feel like, is that all you see? You see my big this, my big that, or other parts. There is more to me than these other assets. And the hair being one of them. So I believe in every person that inner desire is to, first of all, to be seen. Seen first, heard first, valued first. And the all other aspects that you see of me, my hair, my big butt, my big arm, whatever it is that God gave me, is an addition to the beauty and the glory of who I am. So when we start from home and affirm our children as to who they are the ones who become the adults and shape the approval, shape the image, shape the corporate, shape all those things. But we've got to start from somewhere. And that is taking back the image of beauty as to what is defined as from the Bible.
Thank you so much. It's 7:30. You're watching the Progressive Mind Show, and we're talking about natural versus wig, the Black woman's beauty. If you want to contribute to the show by way of ringing in, the number is 815-277-5047. In a few moments, I will be reading your comments again. A few ones have come through. I see one from Latoya. So I will be reading those comments. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we will continue the conversation. And remember to be part of this as we take a break. Joseph, the phone line is ringing. The studio line is working. You don't have to call my cell phone. Brother, let's take a short break. We shall be right back. Welcome back to the show. This is the Progressive Minds. We are the #1 community building show in the world. Today's topic is natural hair versus wig. And so if you want to be part of the conversation of this discussion, please ring in at 815-277-5047. 815-277-5047. I am joined this evening with my co-host Angie Mims and three beautiful ladies. One is my co-host Angie Mims, and the two others are our guests in the personalities of Rosalyn Bates and Lady Jennifer Nartey. Rosalyn, I know you have an organization, and I will have you tell us what you do, and also Lady Jennifer, before the show ends. we have some comments that have come through, and I promise to read these comments. Before I read the comments, we just played this ad. If you want websites, the flyers and logos done, don't look no further. Reach out to us. We'll give you competitive market rates that will beat anyone out there, and we'll give you a quality flyer, logo, websites, and even apps. Reach out to 815-409-9123 or info.progressiveminds@gmail.com. For any of you who's looking for a website done, or if you know anybody who's looking for a website, please reach out to us. This comment, before we went on break, I was asking, for the men that are following, watching the show, what is your preference, natural or wig? And we have one natural so far, and I think there was another natural that came that I did not read. Let's see if I can pick this. Somewhere, this one, I think Maxwell. Okay, so Maxwell did not say that, but I know I saw one. I'll read it as we go along. Hopefully I find it. I totally agree. I tell my daughter daily how beautiful she is, daily. Wherever her hair is in, whether in ponytails, puffy ball, or braids with beads, I definitely feel it starts at home with building our young kings and queens. Thank you so much, Nisi, Michelle, for bringing your comments in. And Antonio King Sr., self-affirmation, confidence, and knowing of self-worth is instilled at home, so there is no need to seek what anyone else value you as. Thank you so much, Antonio King Sr. This one, again, this is another comment from Latoya Sherman or experiment. Okay, Latoya. All right, I don't understand this one. So come again. I think she's trying to get some names for some people to join in the show. That's basically that.
Yeah, that's what she's doing.
Okay. To the contrary, other races are taught to cater to the desires of their men. All right. Now,
I want to say something to that.
With their hair?
Well, I think that whether with their hair or not, other races are taught to cater to their men, and I think that is true. And Lady Jennifer, this is in Africa too. This is done. The women are taught to. You have to cook for him. You have to lay his bed. You have to do this. All of that.
Yeah, I mean, in general, in general, I mean, as I said, most of our culture is based on the Word of God, where we are taught to be homemakers as well. I mean, including the men taking care of our families as well. But to cater, I mean, I think in the context of the hair, I was thinking that to cater for the men with the hair, that's not part of our culture. We don't do the styles to impress the men with our hair and stuff. But naturally, as a woman, to cater for your children, to be a homemaker, to make sure your home is running well, I think it's something that as a woman, we are brought up to be part of us as well.
So she came back with a rebuttal, which is
with their hair,
with their hair, actions, mentality, etc. And I think that Lady Jennifer, you made a point about how our culture is based on biblical scriptures. Here is my contrary view, right?
Yeah,
I think scriptures somehow aligns or affirms some of our culture and our traditions as Africans. I don't necessarily believe that we get our culture from the Bible. I feel like they go in tandem. When you read the Bible and you look at some of the norms of the Bible and the people that the Bible were written about, you find some of those cultures and those traditions in Africa, right? We practice these things freely.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they were writing about Africans or they were writing about some other people, but for some reason we kind of just Bible speaks to what we do already, what's our way of life already. To be honest, a lot of things Africans do is just things we have done based off what our ancestors have taught us, and the Bible just happens to speak to some of these things. So that was just what I wanted to add to that.
Hands up. Andy has both hands up. So
okay, so now sorry, go ahead.
No, I was reading the comments with their hair, actions, and mentality.
I wanted to say something.
Yes, go ahead.
And I Rosalyn, I think your mind was turning too, but I don't know if we agree on this part. That's a layered statement that you made, Senna, because you're stating that it works in tandem. But Proverbs 31 is what you're referencing, I believe, and the responsibilities that the woman has. She, in essence, makes her husband proud. But I would ask this question to you all and to the listening audience. Is there something wrong with wanting your man to be pleased with your appearance? Is there something wrong with that?
Can I respond to the question that the opposing point that you had to my point? because I believe that, hey, I need some help here. All the men that are watching, I need help.
All he wants help, girls. Come on.
Yeah. One last question for you.
The point I'm making is that if Proverbs says that, I think that way before Proverbs or the Bible, came into existence, I think Africans had morals, they had traditions, they had.
Okay, then you're talking about traditions.
Well, and these traditions, some of the teachings of our traditions, right, were already showing or teaching women and men to behave in certain ways. The men were breadwinners, right? If you were a young man, you were taught to go out there and hunt and come and provide for your woman, right?
Yeah, that started from creation.
Yes, exactly. Well, now before creation, are you saying that black people to get our culture from biblical teachings? I don't believe that. I feel
we have to. This is a whole different
conversation.
Exactly.
Okay, so we'll drop this. We'll drop this for now.
We'll be pulling up historical, geographical, and all those things today. So I think you call us all back again, right?
All right.
We'll come back again to that part.
Okay.
Okay. So now answer the question from Angie.
Yes, Angie, your question was. Go ahead. Can you
what is wrong with that?
Wrong with.
Is there anything wrong with the woman pleasing
the man?
Her man.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. Actually, that's what men want. Men want, to be honest, all men, most traditional men, the ones that claim to be men, we want our women to please us in different ways. Okay? Whether it's caring for us, provide food. It's respect first. Food, feeding us, and giving us sex. I say maybe respect, sex, and food. So in these three ways, we want our women to please us. We want them to, of course, look to us for security and for provision. Like real men want that. If a woman is showing too much of, let me say this carefully. A man's instinct kicks in naturally when he sees vulnerability or need. And naturally also, again, for people that claim to be men or claim straight men, you tend to instinctively protect anything that's around you. So because because of the sanction that God gave us, we have to have dominion. And so anything that's within our jurisdiction, we have that natural instinct to protect, to make sure that it's safe. So that's why if you're going out, the man can say, where are you going? Children, where are you going? What are you doing? They want to keep their eyes on you to make sure that you are safe. So when men ask questions, a lot of times it's not to control, but to make sure that whatever you are into or doing or seeing or trying to do is safe for you, right? So for the most part, that's what it is. So yes, we want you to look up to us for security, for strength, and for love, and also give us these things that I mentioned. But definitely, we want to be able to be doing these things. So it has to be reciprocal.
Thank you for answering. Here is why I asked that question, though. I asked that question because African culture, primarily, it is almost innate for women to ensure that her household and her men are well provided for. Well, here in the feminist movement, where women have unfortunately had to do seemingly both the man's job and the woman's job, there is some divide there. Okay. And so when I asked you that question about, does the woman, do you want to be pleased by your woman or should she please her man? It's because this particular question is, how do I put it? I love African culture and even some things when it comes to Indian culture, but how do we get the help that we need? And this is almost rhetorical too, in the Black culture, to where the feminist movement won't keep us so divided, particularly in America. And so I look at the African culture and I love how the man will provide. In fact, polygamy is A-okay in certain countries as long as you can provide for all the women. Whereas here in America, when we do make statements like, I don't need a man and blah, blah, blah. Well, God didn't necessarily make it that way now, did he? So how do we put that back together when it comes to our looks? Because most American men, I can't speak for all because I'm not a man for one, but most American men want you to look very well and very presentable and be able to take care of the house and provide.
Okay.
So
we want you to do all but to provide.
Yes.
Okay. We want all the sex. Now, actually, a lot of times African women dwell too much on the morality of things, the sanctity of things, the properness, right? I need to dress properly. I don't have to look a certain way. I have to cook for him, do all of these things, and they sometimes leave out the sexuality part of it because
that's
men
a whole different show,
right? So African men too want to see all that sexiness on the with their women, but a lot of times a typical African woman, especially back in Africa, they dress, they are covered from head to toe in the house. We don't want you covered from head to toe in the house. We want you.
So no, we don't cover head to toe. We still leave the sexiness even after the babies. And I always educate my women that after the babies and after all that, you still have to look presentable and beautiful to your husband and still look.
Jennifer, you are teaching that because we don't do it a lot.
Exactly. So we are learning. We're learning that, just like we're learning about hair, just like we are learning that we can do better with hair, just like we're learning that we need to teach our young daughters, to believe in themselves more
and to lose it
regardless of But let me ask you, Senna.
Yes.
When you see a Black woman, what do you see first as her beauty?
When I see a Black woman, it's the curve, it's the mystery of her design. Okay.
So it's not the hair for you.
No, it's not the hair, to be honest. Like I told you, a lot of men don't like. Look, the one thing that attracts men most about women when it comes to your hairstyle, whatever, is ponytail. We love ponytail for some reason. As simple as it is, to be honest, as simple as it is,
you better start pulling our hair back.
Trust me, as simple as ponytail is, it attracts. Men like crazy for some reason. But anyway, when
I think I know why.
But when you see Black women, it's the curve, right? The mystery of you ask yourself, how does a person look so well designed, right? And then because Black women are naturally endowed at the waistline, that always gets your attention. So you will look. I have not seen any man, whether young or old, who does not look at a woman, specifically in this context, a black woman, when they're passing. You first grab their attention, you look at her waistline, you see that, okay, things are happening. And when she passes, you take a second look to admire what God has done. And you say, hallelujah to you, oh God.
Okay. Then I have something to tell you on that.
Please tell me.
And that is why I said earlier on, sisters, help me here, that if we follow you guys, if we follow you men, we will keep, because I know other sisters who are black who are not a doubt in that area. And now, because you men is become the highlight of your preferences, women are doing what? Enhancement in those areas. Is that correct, sisters? Right? So now it's become a thing where they have to enhance the curves. Do this, tuck here, do that, push it up.
Can I say
At
this?
the end of that story, Senna, if you really, and Dr. Rosalyn will bear me out here, probably, if you really get to the bottom of why that woman is doing the push and the curves and the tuck and all that, words were involved, right? An attraction to a man was involved. A man's affirmation was involved. You understand? Because
that is why it goes back to your point where a woman should feel confident in herself and not necessarily how the man.
Because next time I do push, I do tuck, I do all that, you leave me, and the other one comes and say, "I want long hair."
Right. So, Auntie Jennifer, Lady Jennifer, let me help out here.
Yes.
The way a man was designed is to look, admire the woman, and then make a move. Okay, right? If we don't see beauty, we can't necessarily make a move. That's why God made you beautiful, so we can. Okay, good. It does not always mean that it does not always mean that we want to be in the home, we want to spend the rest of our life with you, or want to stay with you because we are looking. Instinctively, we can look, but there's a difference between that and what I want to stay with or live with forever, right? Because you is beautiful, nobody can help but to look, both men and women. But then at the end of the day, you have to make a choice to say, okay, let me see
what is inside.
There you go. And then once you approach that, maybe it was the hips, maybe it was the front, maybe it was the hair. Whatever attracted you, you start talking. Once you pick some things and you realize that this one is not good enough, because now the inside is coming out. And if the inside is not beautiful, the man is saying in his head, is saying, no, I don't want to live with this one, but I can have fun with it, perhaps, given the chance, right? So
that is a lesson to us,
right? So women should not think that because men are all about, you can see us on TV throwing money at all of these things. Look, a man can go to a club and throw money at all of this and make
at the end of the day,
but he's not trying to go and live with you. No, see, if you put it in front of him, he will enjoy it. But if you cover it, he respects it. You have to understand this. If you cover it, he sees it, he respects it. But if you throw it at him too, easily,
a bone,
easily, right? Especially when he has not applied for it, he has not signed up for it, he has not necessarily committed to it, and you keep throwing it at him, there's a high tendency that he would not value it.
That's so true.
The only time he values and accepts it is if he has made commitment to it, and you are throwing it at him. Now, I want it, so if you throw it at me, I want it, right? So there's a mutual desire there, right? So I think women should understand that the fact that he's calling you, or you're getting cat calls, or you were being looked at by all men, does not necessarily mean that you are highly desired and he wants to spend the rest of the time with you. Okay. You'll be surprised that same man who is drooling at you and making cat calls, after a day or 2 days or a few moments, he no longer wants to talk to you again, because he's realized that aside what you have on the outside, there is no value that he can keep for the long term. Okay. If that
so it comes back way back to the very beginning where we said that
on the inside.
It plays a role. These words of wisdom that you said, if you keep saying that to your young daughter, if you tell your daughter, and we let our young ladies, our teenagers, our Gen X, and all those who are coming understand that at the end of it all, it is what matters, what is inside. I had once heard T.D. Jakes say that it is not how much we leave to our children, the superficial things, all those things that are the buildings and all the cars and stuff that we're so excited about, but it's what we leave on the inside of these children. So at the end of the day, if we begin to change the dynamics of the conversation, if we begin to let them understand, we've walked this path, I am a man, I know what I'm talking about, I'm a woman, I'm telling you, at the end of the day, this is what it boils down to, they will begin to build their confidence of the beauty they have from within. And it starts with you and I, just like you spoke right now.
Absolutely.
And that is where, if we start having this conversation, it will not be about hair. It will not be about big here and there, which is beautiful.
And we like it.
With or without it, you're still beautiful. And it's the truth.
It's the truth.
Our men's affirmation is very important. Our husbands, men of God, our sons, everybody's affirmation, our sisters' affirmation, affirming one another that I see you, my sister, you're beautiful. Whether you have it or not, with or without hair, you're beautiful. When we begin to change the dynamics of what beauty is defined as, we can still do it. There is still time, there is still hope. If we start that, then I think if we get this conversation back a year or 10 years from now, it would have changed, because gradually our Black young ladies are moving from perm, are moving from long hair, I'm moving from things and coming back to the natural hair. They are.
So what we'll do is
natural.
Good. So what we'll do is we'll set a tone for another show where we will look specifically at natural versus wig, right? Like natural hair. How difficult is it to keep it? Some people say it's too difficult. Some people say it's easy, right? So we would delve into that and talk more about the Black woman's beauty. It's 4 minutes to time, and Salasi Amekuji, Salasi, thank you for joining the show. Ashia Hasnan, thank you for joining in, my sister. Doreen Do Fiajigbe, you've been missing in action for a long time. I'm glad seeing you on the show. Evelyn Sadado, Auntie Evelyn, thank you for being part of the conversation this evening. Elizabeth Awuni, winner, is also here. Mensa Larbi, thank you for joining in. Kwesi Pepra, natural or wig? Which one do you prefer? Please answer. You can put your response in the comments. Nana JC, what do you prefer, natural or wig? Please respond to that. The guy who's asking for the number, I put it in. I sent you a text. Annette Get Kuchin. I'm sorry if I butchered the name, but Annette, you are here, and thank you so much for joining in. We appreciate you all. I'll try and read one or two of the comments, and then we'll wrap up the conversation this evening. Rosalyn, please, if you have any comments that I missed, I know you haven't spoken in a while, please go ahead and do so.
Forgive us.
No.
No, I was responding to the call for rescue, Lady Jennifer. Yes, I agree with all of that. We do have a responsibility to take care of ourselves and also to tend to our home and tend to the men in our lives. Along with that, our hair is a dimension of ourselves that we can use for creativity and expression. And so if we have the freedom to play around with that, we can reinvent ourselves. We can use that as a tool to reinvent ourselves. Our sense of style is connected to our hair. And so what we want from men, the men in our lives, is, hey, can you appreciate those dimensions, that sense of style, this way that I can recreate how I look using my hair? And can you be consistent over time to appreciate the many ways that I present myself? That's important to us. We value the consistency of appreciation over time. So, for example, if a woman gets cancer and she loses her hair, can she be loved even in that without the hair? So, I think that Lady Jennifer has a lot of wisdom that she's giving related to how we navigate our family lives and how we find our sense of value taking care of others, but we also do have the responsibility to communicate self-care, to practice self-care as women.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Rosalyn, for those beautiful points, and great show. Great show. Enjoy. Thank you. Thanksgiving. Okay, maybe I couldn't flow with that one the way it's supposed to, but that was a full circle discussion. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Latoya. Because essentially men want what you said, African women naturally default to a woman of virtue and morality. Thank you so much for being a very powerful contributor to this show, Latoya Gibson. Sikache says, thank you. If you cover it, he will respect it. I like that. Thank you so much for your contribution as well. We are right, and beauty is in the drawer. Beauty is in the drawer. Okay, this one is Lady J. Women are dying literally to look like that, right? Okay, so I think that was to a comment you made earlier, and then this one is very relevant topic. Good job, guys. Thank you, Queen J. I like your correction. African women don't cover from head to toe. We try to show off too. Yes, so African women. Hey, show more. The men
we show decently.
You see how she came back? You show decently. We don't want decent. Show us everything.
There's a place and a time. Oh no, there's a place and a time.
You see the African coming up.
Yes, through and through. There's a place and a time.
No, don't come for my Lady Jennifer. No, I'm muting myself. No, don't come for Lady Jennifer.
No. Lady Jennifer. So when it comes to men, Lady Jennifer, let me say this. Once there is that commitment, your man, your husband, your wife.
In the home, I won't cover, not outside.
Oh no, but yes. So that's
I'm talking about the home.
Yes. So
the home, there's no need to cover it all.
She said we show off too, and you said we have to show off decently. What's a decent showing here? We don't want decent.
In the home, please show it off. Okay. In the home, girl, show it off in the home.
So decency in the home, right? No decency in the home.
In the home, it's all yours. Please.
Lady Jennifer, no decency in the home.
No decency in the home.
Thank you. I want to get
you want me to stay categorically there. In the home, it's all natural. Yes. It's all natural, right?
Yes,
in the home, it's all natural.
Yes,
okay, I get it.
Thank you.
That's okay.
Jennifer and I can go that way because I call her auntie. So we can have a go.
Honestly, I believe in that. I believe that the fact that I'm married, it doesn't mean all of a sudden I'm a nun, or I have to cover from head to toe. In a full gown or anything. Right. To my man, that's my husband. Right. He married the full body, everything. It's yours. It's yours to cherish. It's yours to treasure. It's yours to keep. In fact, the Bible says, "My body is not mine; it's yours." Okay. So, if you want to see it, good.
What if it's not boyfriend, but what if it's not marriage, but just boyfriend, girlfriend?
No. I'm talking. No, cover it up. Next topic, cover it up so that you can respect it. That's where you come in. Yes. If it's boyfriend, girlfriend, cover it up so he can come for it legally. It's not yours. Yes. Cover it up and you respect it. Girls, are you with me? Yeah.
Yes. Amen. Cash App Lady Jennifer.
Yeah, yeah, pay for it, please.
Pay for it.
Yes.
And so you can have the full package.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing. My great guests this evening have been awesome. We thank you all for being part of the show. It's 3 minutes, actually 4 minutes past 8 p.m. here in Chicago, and we are grateful for your time. We're going to end the show this evening, but we'll have our guest and our co-host to give us their last regards. We'll start with Rosalyn, Angie, me, Lady Jennifer, and then Angie will close us. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Rosalyn.
Well, I appreciated the breadth of this discussion, how we tackled a variety of topics, the importance of the woman acknowledging her inner beauty and having that affirmed by others, and then the ways that we have been shaped by society and how we navigate our identity. And it comes from within at the end of the day. Our beauty comes from within.
Thank you so much. Some people are complaining that they called in and it didn't come through. So the phone line is working. We would give it a shot. If you were listening, you can call in again and see if it comes through. And so we apologize if you already called in and you weren't able to come through. Lady Jennifer, please, your closing remarks. Thank you so much, Rosalyn, for those powerful words.
Thank you, Dr. Rosalyn. So my words are: it's time to have the conversation of what beauty is. It's time to have the conversation for both men and women. It's time to start the conversation of having it from our home, our kitchen table conversations, reaffirming to our children, our sons, beginning to see them. My conversation is to my sister that I see you. My conversation is to my Black American sister that I see your story, I appreciate your story. Now I understand. And, when we begin to have these things, we begin to break the barriers, begin to redefine the beauty, begin to take our strength back. As I said, take it back from the Delilahs, regrow and change the dynamics if we can start from home and start with ourselves. And finally, let us reaffirm, especially to our young ladies. There's so many young ladies who are lost. And when I say lost, lost in so many ways, looking for that strong Black woman to reaffirm the role they have in today's society, where they are going, what they stand for, and they are more, and they can be seen and heard. And I think there's time for more strong Black women as mentors for young ladies.
Thank you. And I wish that you can reiterate that because I was getting distracted. Do we have a caller on the line?
I believe so.
Hello. Yeah. Yes. So please tell us your name and can you go ahead with your comment quickly?
My name is Dion Taylor. My comment was actually from an earlier part of your conversation that I like and prefer to see that sisters with natural hair. It could be whichever style, braids, or just laid back wrap. But I like the natural. I like the natural look.
Okay, thank you so much, brother Dion, for calling in and expressing your desire. You like it natural. You're like me, and so we've had 3 natural so far this evening. Next week, not next week, but we'll announce it. We would have to get more men expressing their desire or their preference when it comes to natural or wig. Thank you so much, my brother. Have a wonderful evening. We appreciate your contribution. So for those of you who tried earlier, I think we had to do a few clicks here and there to get the system up, and so unfortunately we fixed it at the end of the show, but we will be here in a week or two. Actually, we're here next week on a different conversation, but definitely this one is going to be continued, and so watch out for our social media platforms regarding an updates. Lady Jennifer, thank you so much for sharing your last comment. I apologize for that little glitch. I don't know if you're able to get all your comments out.
Yes. Aside that, let's thank God for one another, appreciate one another, see and hear one another. There's not enough of that, and that vacuum of lack of love. Out of love comes that reaffirmation. Out of love comes that acceptance. So as we celebrate Thanksgiving, let us thank God for one another. Let us thank God for our families, our children, and let us thank God for how far He has brought all of us.
That's very powerful. That's very powerful. Thank you so much once again, Lady Jennifer, the one and only co-host of the Progressive Mind Show, Angie.
Thank you. I have thoroughly enjoyed just this whole chemistry that we've been sharing on this platform. It has truly been a good ride. And so I'm very grateful to you, Senna, for always being a trailblazer and bridging this gap, to Dr. Rosalyn, as well as Lady Jennifer. I definitely enjoyed bantering with you all. And to our listening audience and my family, I'm going to get in trouble, but I have to shout them out. Quincy, Geraldine Campbell, Karen Peterson, my sis Nisi, my companion Josh, and all of you. We are just so grateful. My last remarks to who all are still listening is every day is a day of Thanksgiving. God has brought us from such a mighty long way, and we ought to be glad and give His name the praise, and we ought to worship Him always. Why? Because we were made in His image and in His likeness, and we are His sheep, and so He guides us and He gives us wisdom. And so once we truly believe that we are made in God's image, we are beautiful, we're a royal priesthood even, then we can show and shine that we are the epitome of what royalty looks like.
Yes.
Wow. Such a powerful show. You would not even notice that we've been here 2 hours already. And we could keep going. And such is the power of the Progressive Minds platform. When we engage members of the community and discuss these pertinent issues that bother all of us, we hope that you've taken something out of this and you're going to keep sharing the feed so that we can together build our community. So next week, Wednesday, same time, we'll be here discussing matters of the community, matters in the community. I don't know, Angie, were you trying to get my attention?
Sorry. I forgot to shout out Annette. She is our own radio host as well, and she does a beautiful show on mind, body, and soul. And so I want to shout her out too. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. It wasn't even.
No, she's a beautiful radio host, and she definitely is a great person, as well as my brother Antonio King. He's out from Springfield. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna get in trouble.
You're fine. Listen,
you're fine.
Thankfully, we don't have to pay ABC or anybody to be on here. You know, this is our platform. This is our community platform. So we have time to get things out, even when we miss it. The only thing we ask the community, though, is that we support us. We need it. Okay, theprogressivemindshow.com. It's a 501c. So the more you give us, the better for you, actually, because you can file your taxes with it. Right. So please go ahead and do that so that we can do even more than we're doing now. It will be fair. It's only fair to give Rosalyn the opportunity to talk about her organization, since we are now giving shout outs to, people and all of that.
Okay. Let me get ours in there.
Yeah. So Rosalyn, please go ahead quickly.
Yes, Rise Garden Productions LLC is an organization that discusses topics that feature the intersection of pastoral care and mental health. We also provide educational tools to ministers, pastors, and clergy members, elders as well. So if you would like more information, you're welcome to visit the website, www.rosegardenproductions.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Lady Jennifer, why not?
Why not? Thank you, Angie, for paving the way so we can to my family, of course, to my husband, Pastor Henry Nartey, my beautiful children. I have 6 of them. To all of them, that will take time. To my girls and to my boys and to my grandsons and everyone. To my prayer warriors as well, Glorious Altar Prayer Ministry. I thank you for always standing by me. I love you and appreciate you all. And my foundation, the Glorious Heart Foundation, we do community, events as well. We do mentoring programs. We do marriage counseling. We do charity work. We've done so much. We're looking forward to 2023 to do a lot more for the community, young men, young women, and many more. So thank you all so much for everything. And Senna, thank you for always, thinking of me to come and share what God has placed in me. So God bless you all. Appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And you all are very valuable personalities and women in our community. And so we really, really appreciate you. The Progressive Minds honor you for availing yourself to share and to help educate our people. On that note, we really want to thank everyone that has made this show a success. We look forward to seeing you next week, Wednesday, same time. Remember that it is much more important to give than to receive. And as we celebrate tomorrow, Thanksgiving, let's focus on family, focus on loved ones, and I think also very importantly, those who do not have the opportunity to meet with loved ones and are out there in sorrow by themselves. Let's pray for them. Let's pray for their comfort. On that note, remember, to whom much is given, much is required. I'm your host, Alinko. My co-host was powerful, Angie Mims. In the days to come, you'll be seeing more of her. Actually, more of her. Trust me, I promise, more of her. Okay. But once again, have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.